What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ocarina of Hype. I'm coming at you with another video today. In this video today, I wanted to talk about the Light Temple and how they could actually add another dungeon to the Ocarina of Time remake. Now, when it comes to adding additional dungeons to the game, I think there's really only one clear option that could possibly work, and that's the Light Temple. And I have a few ideas today I wanted to go over with you guys about how I think they could possibly incorporate a Light Temple into the game. I know this has been talked about before quite extensively, but I have a few takes I want to throw out there and see what you guys think. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, how I think the Light Temple would work, right? I think they would incorporate this as soon as Link collects the 3 spiritual stones and he first pulls the Master Sword in the Temple of Time, right? So this would take place after he draws the sword and before he awakens and receives the Medallion of Light from Rauru. And the way this works brilliantly is that they could do this without really modifying the story that much. And that's why I say I think it's the only dungeon that could actually really work if they wanted to add an additional dungeon. Right, so Link, before he receives the Medallion of Light, another story sequence takes place, right? This is right after Ganondorf invades the Sacred Realm. And essentially this dungeon would take place in a alternate dimension version of the Temple of Time, or maybe in the back rooms of the Temple of Time, similar to Twilight Princess. And how they had a Temple of Time dungeon in there would be roughly similar to that in size and scope, except for it would have a much heavier emphasis on light puzzles, right? Like even before you get the Mirror Shield and the Spirit Temple, this would have, different and unique light puzzles you could, right? Like maybe you have to, rotate mirrors, you have to break walls, or you have to shoot certain things to open up crevices and cracks and let light through certain areas in this Temple of Time dungeon to solve light-based puzzles. The overall theme and motif of the dungeon would be just dispelling darkness with light, right? And so the enemies in this new Light Temple would revolve around just corrupted figures coming from the corrupted Sacred Realm as Ganondorf invades it, right? I'd want to have a mix of humanoid and mechanical type enemies. I think I'd like to have it focus heavily around knights and just warrior type enemies. You would see around Hyrule Castle and the Temple of Time guarding it as maybe like guardians or protectors. That'd be pretty cool. For a mini boss, there's a couple things you could do. Maybe you could have let's see, you could do like a knight type figure that's corrupted by Ganon's magic. Something like that would be kind of neat. And it would be more of a one-to-one duel kind of Souls-like style. Almost similar to Dark Link, but different. And then maybe for the main boss, you could have like a corrupted version of Zelda. Since we already did kind of a mock-up of Ganon in the Forest Temple with Phantom Ganon, you could do a corrupted version of Zelda. That's just kind of a puppet that, uses, elements of wisdom and light. And she has the light arrows, so maybe like light-based attacks would go along good with the motif. I'm just throwing ideas out there. That would be interesting. And I think that would work definitely like a corrupted version of Zelda. Because when you think about the Light Temple, what else would really work as a boss? I think that'd probably be the best way to go about it. And essentially, this dungeon would serve as kind of an introductory dungeon for adult Links and all the mechanics you utilize as adult Link, as far as gameplay and dungeon and puzzle solving goes. Right? You have the Forest Temple, but I feel like the Forest Temple, because it is a good introductory dungeon, but at some points it kind of throws you in the deep end. And I think they could do the Light Temple in between to kind of ease you into Adult Link and the more advanced dungeons of the game, and just kind of give the game, one extra dungeon would be sweet. And maybe with this dungeon, you could learn even more about what happened during the 7-year time skip. I don't know, maybe after you beat the corrupted Zelda, it shows kind of a flashback of Zelda's time during the 7 years. That would be awesome. And so it shows her training to, become Sheik and where she escaped to. Which actually, as far as Ocarina of Time lore goes, that's one of the biggest missing pieces, is just that 7 years. So I think that would be the perfect time to really incorporate some kind of cutscene and flesh out the backstory a little bit with what happened during that time period. And maybe it also shows Ganondorf entering the Sacred Realm and completely taking over the castle and Castle Town and destroying it. To see how we get the results that we get when you first exit the Temple of Time as Adult Link. It would also give you the opportunity to kind of meet Rauru, the Sage of Light, more naturally versus how you meet him in the the original version of the game, right, where he just kind of shows up and hands you the Medallion of Light. I think that you could have him show up in the temple like all the other sages do, like midway through, and then he tells you to go and do something, or he gives you some kind of exposition, what you're trying to accomplish, and the backstory of the trial that you're in. I think this would be great because it would really make you feel like you earned the title of the Hero of Time, right? And it'd make you feel like you earned the the Medallion of Light, rather just because right now it's just kind of a participation trophy. It's the participation trophy of Zelda Ocarina of Time, right? You just get it just for showing up and going to the Temple of Time and ascending to adulthood. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool if they did something like that. But yeah, anyways, to recap, the dungeon would kind of be a mix of the Temple of Time theming, right? So a giant Temple of Time mixed with Sacred Realm elements, where it just shows the edge of the Sacred Realm and how it's being corrupted and taken over, and right, you have to beat back some of that darkness. And the motif of the dungeon is just darkness and light, and vanquishing darkness with light in the temple. For a mini boss, I do kind of like a corrupted knight type figure, kind of like a one-on-one duel type battle. I think that'd be sweet. And then for the boss of the dungeon, right, you get the corrupted Zelda, where she uses light-based attacks against you. And after beating her, you get more exposition about what happened to Zelda during the 7-year time skip. And on top of that, you meet Rauru naturally and organically in the temple about halfway through, and he gives you an exposition dump. As far as a dungeon item goes, it's really difficult to say. I don't really think you could do a dungeon item. Maybe you could just add an extra heart, or I don't know, some kind of upgrade that's not that doesn't impact the game or story in that type of way, right? Because you already get all the items naturally to progress through the game. So I'd be curious to what you guys think. Should be a dungeon item, or should there be a dungeon item at all in this temple? But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. These are my thoughts on what the Temple of Time, the Temple of Light would be like, right, in the new Ocarina of Time remake, if they do include, decide to include an additional dungeon. I think this is really the only dungeon that could possibly work. If they were going to add another one. Some people brought up the Wind Temple. I don't think that would work at all. I think, the Temple of Light's the obvious choice. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think this temple will make an appearance in the new Ocarina of Time remake? I think it's a pretty slim chance that it does, but it's fun to think about what they would do with it if they actually put it in the game. Anyways, guys, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs, and I need your guys' help. All right, so if you guys enjoy these Zelda videos, please do consider subscribing. I've always got more to come. I do about 3 videos a week, 3 to 4 videos a week, so you can expect that. And my next one is going to be pretty interesting, so stay tuned for that. I'll have a lot more to come. Anyways, guys, until next time, this has been Matt from Top Tier. I'm out. Bye.